Dream win, 101-79 over the Indiana Fever, the second of two consecutive games against the Indiana Fever in Indiana. So let's jump right into it. The Dream's color graphic once again is not correct. Get it right, TV production guys. Didn't take a lot of notes for this one. I guess that's how blowouts go sometimes. I'm just glad it's on our side though, right? And speaking of old colors, Tiffany Hayes is back in Atlanta, but she's not playing just yet. And we're getting much closer to me getting to rock the old school colors. Nalissa Smith's ankle injury doesn't seem too terribly serious, though she is going to miss this game and probably a few more. Probably not a whole lot more than that. Fortunately, her replacement, Emily Yangsler, has had a really good showing the last time out, and she'll be looking to improve on that. On the Dream side, Monique Billings is also going to miss this one due to apparently COVID protocols. Despite being pretty much overshadowed by Ryan Howard and Ari McDonald, Billings has been a very solid supporter for those guys. Right before the tip-off, handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, the code of honor is adhered to. 2 minutes into the game, Indiana called an early timeout as they were trailing 11-2, and I had a sinking feeling that this was going to be a sign of things to come. Later on, Indiana did manage to make it 8-13, but Atlanta just kept the pressure on. Ari McDonald gets some time on the court, and even though she was defended pretty heavily, she was taken wildly off balance, she still managed to sink a two-pointer or two. Got to give her better coverage than that, because even then, that might not even be enough. Indiana, to their credit, they kept closing the gap, but Atlanta just opens it right back up. 2 minutes into the second quarter here, Atlanta makes their fifth three-pointer. Indiana had one at that point. They're pretty comparable in points in the paint, but Atlanta was just scoring from all over the place. Fever players were working harder to cover Ryan Howard than Howard was working to get out of it. She just made it look so effortless. I didn't take a whole lot of other notes this quarter, but with the score of 50-35, there's really not much to take note of. Oh yeah, Kelsey Mitchell still hadn't scored yet in this quarter. That's just a testament to Atlanta's great defense in this game. Cheyenne Parker was being hyped up pretty well by Indiana's announcers, and for good reason. At the half, she had 15 points and was 5 for 7 on field goals. Howard and McDonald got all the attention, as they rightfully should, but do not let that distract you from the rest of the talent on this team, because there absolutely is a lot of it. 6 minutes into the third quarter, Kelsey Mitchell finally gets her first points of the game. Not a whole lot of notes between the third and the fourth quarter here. Howard, Parker, Wheeler, and Wallace all stole the show, but it was pretty much already theirs to begin with, really. Ari McDonald had 9 points off the bench, which was one more than starter Nia Coffey. And that's not a knock against Coffey, just that maybe Ari should be getting a start one of these days. She's very clearly earned it. She also had more rebounds than any other Dream player in this game, including defensive rebounds. Naz Hillman led Atlanta in offensive rebounds with 2. I do appreciate that the Fever really didn't let up in the dying minutes of the game when the outcome was absolutely not in question. They had 80 shot attempts over the whole game, while Atlanta only had 63. 3-point shot attempts were 30 and 22 in favor of Indiana. They stayed with it, and you really just got to respect that. I do feel bad for them and their fans for this performance, but there is so much upside on this team. I mean, the Fever have a really bright future ahead of them, especially if they stick with that core of Nalissa Smith, Kelsey Mitchell, Danielle Robinson, Victoria Vivians, Queen Egbo. They just have a great supporting cast. They just need a little bit of time. As for the Atlanta Dream, next time they have a real test in their next game, which is going to be Friday against the Washington Mystics. Both teams are 4-1, but Washington will certainly give them one hell of a test. It'll certainly be tough, but you know who else is tough? Ryan Howard and Ari McDonald. I'll see you then.